Welcome back for another one of our quarantine cooking classes. So glad to see you all there and have you visiting with me. Today we are going to be making a wonderful non-dairy, sweet and creamy carrot and cashew dip. I'm looking forward to showing you how to do that. It's quite easy. It's just 4 ingredients. We have the ingredients here. This is, by the way, this is probably the 6th cooking class that I've been giving since we started the stay at home, and I'm hoping to continue to do a weekly Tuesday at 2 until we are out of our homes and back to normal again. But until then, I hope you keep visiting. If you've missed the past recipes, I will be posting them in my newsletter this month. If you'd like to join the newsletter and receive the recipes, please just IM me here or send, just go to my website, eveyschweig.com, and you can sign up there. And I'll send those out to you. And speaking of recipes and healthy eating, I am working on a new program that starts June 8th. Hopefully you'll join along with me. We will be doing, I'm working with my colleague, Mary Ellen Zung. You'll be working and doing our Metamorphosis program. But this year we have revamped our program to specifically design it to target the unique emotional and physical challenges that we're all having during this unprecedented time of the COVID pandemic. So it's a 12-day program filled with nutritional and emotional support. Who would be interested in this program? Anyone who wants to feel more confident transitioning through the COVID pandemic stages. Anyone who wants to get off of a diet roller coaster. I know we've all been eating a little bit differently during this time. Maybe we've been eating more, or maybe just foods that we know just aren't that good for us. But it's also for anyone who wants to manage stress and kind of help focus. We all kind of been having problems with stress and affecting our ability to focus on what we need to do in our emotions. Maybe you want to have more energy, or just take control of your health and feel better. So just real quickly, as I said, it's 12 days. The first 5 days, there will be a program in the evening, a 1-hour program through Zoom, where we will introduce the program and talk about what you can expect. But we'll also explore and discuss different issues that we're all facing at home right now, with the family, with work, with life events. So hope you can stay with us for the 5 days, and then over the weekend we will be working on prepping and preparing our menu for the detox, the second set of 5 days, during which we have a whole food plant-based nutrition program. Excuse me. Nutrition program that features stress-supporting, naturally detoxing ingredients. So I hope you can all join us for this program. As I said, it starts June 8th, which will be here before we know it. If you would like to sign up, you can IM me through this at the end of this program or during this program. You can go to my website, eveyschweig.com, and sign up there. Hoping you will join us. This proves to be something that we're all going to benefit from now. But with that being said, here's the logo. I'm going to put that down so we can get started with our cooking class. So as I said, we are going to be making a carrot and cashew dip, which is non-dairy. Very simple recipe. If you would like to get the recipe when we're done, everything is written out on my website, again, eveyschweig.com, underneath the recipe tab and appetizers. So let's get started. So to begin with, carrots and cashews are the main ingredients in this dish. Now, these are some great organic carrots. Typically, I don't peel a carrot, an organic carrot. I will just kind of wash them off really well. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a peeling, just because for the color of the final dish, if there's anything discolorations or anything on the outside, this keeps it a little bit cleaner. You'll need about 2 cups of diced carrots. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to give a shout out and say hey to Bruce. How are you? Okay. What were we saying? The potatoes in here are major food groups and great for stress. Yes, beer and potato chips. Great for stress, I know. Unfortunately, really high in carbs and really high in salt, which in the long run do not do our bellies any favors or our high blood pressure, our hearts. So yeah, the purpose of the detox and support, emotional support, will be hopefully to get us away from those habits that we might have developed through the last few weeks, being staying at home and looking for comfort foods, looking ways to ease our stress in ways that we learned as we were growing up or as we did in college. Hey Kim, how are you? It's good to see you too. Yeah, definitely, if you guys are watching in, say hi to me in the chat box so I know you're there. It's always good to see you and know that you're there. And if you have any questions, absolutely, just put them into the chat box there so I know. And hopefully I'll get to answer them before the end. If not, I'll leave a comment at the end. So we'll need about 2 cups of chopped carrots for this. That's roughly about 4, medium to large carrots, maybe 5 if they're a little bit smaller. I'm going to peel up 4 right now, and we'll see what that comes to. So basically, oh, and by the way, those carrot peels and the ends that I'm chopping off will go into the freezer. I save all of my vegetable clippings when I'm cooking. And when I get a bag that's big enough, I'll make up a vegetable broth, which is always nice to have. I add it to recipes instead of water. Or if I'm making soup, you can use it as a broth base. So now what I'm going to do is, I have my carrots that are peeled and the ends are chopped off. I'm going to chop them into about 1-inch increments. And what I want to do is, the smaller these are, the more quickly they're going to cook. So I'm going to cut some of these in half as well, maybe even in quarters if they're really thick, because I want to keep them nice and small. All right. Now another way to do this would be if I was going to take my carrot and the end is thicker than what I might want to do is take that and cut in half lengthwise first, as you can see that I did right here. All right. And then cut them into the 1-inch sections. All right. The goal is to keep them fairly uniform so that they cook all at the same rate. And for this dish, we really want to cook these down till they're nice and soft. Now about 2 cups, so that was about 4 carrots. Let's just check and see how much we've got here. I think we pretty much have got what we need. All right. I gotta tell you, that was most of the work for this recipe. It's one of those kind of recipes, nice and easy, right? Okay, so we've got about 2 cups, a generous 2 cups. And then what we want to do is we want to add 1 cup of cashew. So I actually have bought a huge bag, 5-pound bag. Where is that bag? Here. Oh, I'll show you. You can see I go through cashews. But what I didn't realize when I bought it is they are already pre-chopped. So you don't need to pre-chop them. Whatever you have, 1 cup of cashews is enough for that. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take these and put them into a pot. All right. And then add enough water to cover. So what did I add? I added maybe about a cup of water. So you can see I've got my carrots in here now and my cashews, and I'm just going to put them onto the stove to set to a boil. Once it comes to the boil, I'm going to want to simmer them until the carrots are nice and soft. I have found that this can take anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes. It depends on how big your carrot pieces are. That's why I was saying it's better to make the pieces a little bit smaller. So I'm going to put this onto my stove. Again, I'm going to set that. I'm going to start out at a little bit of a higher heat just so that it starts to boil, and then I'll turn the temperature down. While that's happening, I want to give a shout out to Rita. Hey Rita, it's so glad to see you. So happy to have you on the program again today. And hopefully you guys will be seeing some of the recipes. If you missed them, you can either go onto my webpage or, as I said, sign up for my newsletter, and I will send them because I'll be sending a bunch of them to everybody this month. All right, so I've got my carrots now boiling on the stove. Through the magic of video, I just happen to have some cooked. Now, this is the size pot that I normally like to use to do this because it has more surface area on the bottom. So I find that it comes to a boil quicker. I'm just going to turn down my carrots over here so that those don't boil over. I cook these for about 15 minutes. I checked them at 10 minutes, and I just used a fork just to see how soft they are. And what I want is I want them to be nice and soft, because what we're going to do now is we're just going to blend them up. Let me just make sure I didn't forget anything. All right, so now, luckily, everything so far so good. Sorry about that. So what we want to do now is we want to drain the liquid out, but I want to save that liquid because it has a lot of flavor to it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour it into a colander here. And because they were pre-chopped, these cashews, they're in very small pieces, so I'm just going to scrape it all out, make sure that we get everything in there. I don't want to waste anything. Now, what the cashews do in this dish is they make a substitute for the dairy. So normally you might be adding like a cream cheese or sour cream to a dip. Cashews have this wonderful characteristic that allows them to add a creaminess to vegan or vegetarian dishes. So I'm just going to drain that out. I'm going to add it into my food processor here. I'm going to use my large bowl. This is going to come to about 3 cups. So if you have a larger bowl, you might want to use that. Now, you can use a blender as well. It's a little easier using a food processor. Blenders can get stuck and a little bit harder to mix up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just blend it up a little bit. See how we're doing. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to push it down once. Ooh, you can see that steam. I don't know if you can see that steam coming up. But what I want to do is I want to get this to a nice, creamy consistency. Let me show you what we've got so far. Let me just push this down a little bit. You might have to push it down a couple of times. All right, so here's what we have now. You can see there's still pieces of the cashew in there. What you want to do in that case is you'll want to just add a little bit of your pot liquor, which is what this is called from the vegetables. I'm going to add in maybe about a tablespoon. to start. And what you want to do is you just want to add a little bit each time until it's the consistency that you like. If you like a chunkier dip, use less water. Wow, this is looking good. I'm going to give it one more pulse, and then I'm going to show it to you all so that you can see. All right. There we go. All right. Oh, this is good. All right, so let me show it to you again. All right. And I'm going to take a little scoop so you can see the consistency. All right. Now, what we can do with this, and you know what I'm going to do with this then? I'm going to save this because I can add it to soups. I can add it to any kind of dish that requires broth. It's a nice, rich, almost sweet broth that or has a nice sweet flavor. Let's put it that way. So I'm just going to set that to the side for now. And what I want to do is I want to, in a separate container, maybe this one here, I'm going to take some miso. Now, miso is a fermented product of soybean. You probably have seen it in miso soup, heard of it in Japanese dishes, miso soup. I'm going to take just about a teaspoon of this. It's very salty. So this is what's going to add a nice flavor to the dip. And again, I'm putting in a teaspoon. If you taste it and you think it needs a little bit more zing, you can go ahead and do that. Now, if you're not familiar, let me just grab a spoon here. If you're not familiar with miso, you can find it in the Asian section in grocery stores. I know Whole Foods has it. If you are lucky enough to have an Asian market near you, it's there. There's a lot of selections. You can get a white miso or a brown miso. The brown miso tends to have a stronger flavor to it. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a little bit of that pot liquor again, remember we said, and I'm just going to take maybe about a teaspoon. What I want to do is I just want to start, okay, 2 teaspoons. What I want to do is I want to start just to mix it up so that when I mix it into my dip, I don't get like chunks of it. And this just makes it easier to do. And I'm going to show you. So I've got, just kind of a medium consistency here. Let's say, you can say it's still a little bit firm. The paste itself is very firm. Look at this. Now, I've seen it, you can get it in plastic bags. This one was nice that it was in a container. I do tend to like to keep, it comes with a plastic wrapping to start. I like to put that on top so that it doesn't dry out. But this will stay for a long, long time because it's fermented in the refrigerator. So it's always great to have handy. Pull it out for a recipe. It's great to add into soups. Like I said, it'll add a nice salty flavor. If you don't have miso, you can also try using a little bit of tamari or soy sauce. If you don't, and just add, you won't need to add the liquid to it. You'll just be able to add the, I would say probably about a teaspoon of the soy sauce in there. Taste it, see what you think. If you think it needs a little more zing, a little bit more saltiness, add some more in. Okay, so I'm just going to move this now off out of the way. All right, now what you could do is you could transfer this into another bowl to mix in the miso. If you would like to keep the miso cultures of the fermentation alive, you can wait till this cools down a little bit more. I am going to just add it in right now into the mix. So just going to quickly add that in, and then I'm going to stir it in. All right. Go. Not the easiest way to stir it in. Maybe it would have been a better idea to put it in a bowl, a separate bowl. But I'm just going to give it a little taste and see if I might even add a little bit more of that paste in. You know what? You will find that different brands have different strength of flavor. And I'm not getting much of the miso flavor here, so I'm actually going to go for another teaspoon here. I'm going to add in a little bit more. Mix that all together and mix it in. But this dip is great. It keeps for a long time in the fridge. It's great for company. I like to serve it with peppers or crackers too. And I'll show you in a minute just how well that works. Now, if you like it creamier, you can still pulse it for longer. If you do put it in a blender, it would probably get even creamier because a blender does tend to be able to mix things, chop them up more finely. Actually, I kind of like this consistency. All right, let's move things around here. All right. And I'm just going to spoon this out. And as I said, it makes a healthy portion. Just grab towel here, clean up a little bit. All right. All right, so here we have it. All right. And as I said, it goes really well with peppers. Let me show you how I cut my pepper. I don't know, you might cut it this way. What I do is I tend to cut off the top and cut off the bottom right away. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull out this center. There we go. Get rid of the seeds. All right, and then what I like to do, I cut it in half. I just like to cut it into maybe 1/2 inch width strips. I'm just going to neaten it up a little bit by cutting out that white membrane. You don't have to. No rule that says you have to do that. All right. I'm going to put my peppers in there. And I also have some crackers here. I actually made some homemade crackers. If anybody is interested in a recipe with crackers, let me know. That might be another cooking class that we can do in the future. These are great. These are made with buckwheat and garbanzo flour, which gives it a different flavor, but very healthy for you as well. Very few ingredients again too. So let's see how we did. I'm just gonna pick out a little spreader here and put it onto our cracker. And there you have it. Trying to see if you can see it better this way, this way, this way. But delicious flavor. Here, we'll put it down here. Or if you prefer, you could just take your pepper stick and taste it. Oh, it's good. I actually like that it's still a little bit warm right now, so it has some extra flavor that way. So good. So again, whoops, come back, cracker. You can do a cracker. I like these seeded crackers. It's called Mary's Gone crackers. Homemade crackers. Let me know if you want me to do a recipe for making crackers. Very easy in the oven. With company coming or virtual company coming, you're now prepared. You've got your dip, your crackers, ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this session, this quarantine cooking class. Again, if you're interested in following the program, the Metamorphosis program for emotional support and detox, it starts June 8th. I'd be happy to send you information. Just IM me or go to my webpage, eveyschweig.com, for more information. Or actually, you can go to my Facebook page under events. It's listed there. But I think we could all use a little bit of support right now. And some good cooking. I'll see you next week. Did anybody have any questions? What spices could you add to that? That's a really good question. You know what's really nice if you like sumac? Sumac is a great flavor. It's kind of like a lemony spice that goes with it. That's what comes to mind right away. I bet you could put in paprika, give it a little smoky flavor. If you want to do more on the sweet side, you could even do a cinnamon, I think, because it would go with the sweetness of the carrots. But I think, you know, it depends on what you're looking for. You could actually go with maybe even an oregano. That one I'd have to taste to see whether that would go. But, all right. All right, another shout out to Dawn before we go. Thanks for joining us. And I hope to see you soon. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Stay well.